I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. In my last episode, I've looked at the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which featured Pooh's first 3 theatrical shorts. And to this day, this movie is still a childhood classic. However, for today's episode, we're going to look at a movie from the true House of Mouse, which has been described as a film that captures the spirit of the original shorts and presents the magic of childhood that we grew up with. Released on July 15th, 2011, the movie is, well, Winnie the Pooh. And now, on for the plot of the movie. During an ordinary day in the 100 Acre Wood, Winnie the Pooh sets out to find some honey. Upon learning that Eeyore has lost his tail, the residents of the 100 Acre Wood start a contest to see who can find a new one for the melancholy donkey, with a pot of honey going to the winner. Amid the goings-on, Owl mistakenly gives out the news to Pooh and the gang that Christopher Robin has been abducted by a creature named Baxon, and they must come up with a plan to save him. So, what do I think? Well, I absolutely adored it. It was a really sweet return to childhood and a great reintroduction to old familiar faces. Plus, I had a lot of fun seeing this movie in theaters with my Aunt Karen, my goddaughter/cousin Elizabeth, and my grandmother. But to further explain why I like the movie, let's head over to Mustang Notes. Now, Winnie the Pooh is the 4th sequel in the Walt Disney Animation Studios library. The previous films being The Three Caballeros, The Rescuers Down Under, and Fantasia 2000. In November 2008, Walt Disney Animation Studios Chief Creative Officer John Lasseter first approached Stephen Anderson and Don Hall, who became the movie's directors, about making a new Winnie the Pooh film for theaters, with the two becoming enthusiastic at the idea and accepting the project. Following a trip to Ashdown Forest in Sussex, southeast England, to explore the location of A.A. Milne's original stories, the filmmakers enlisted Bernie Mattinson, a Disney veteran who worked as a key animator on the 1974 short Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2, to serve as lead storyboard artist for the film. After seeing all the feature films about Winnie the Pooh, Mattinson thought that he could use Milne's story, in which Eeyore loses his tail and Pooh finds one, as the basic idea for the plot. Mattinson's 5-minute pitch for the sequence where Eeyore loses his tail is credited with convincing Disney executives to make the film as a feature-length work instead of a featurette. Many of the animation staff from The Princess and the Frog were brought in to work on Winnie the Pooh, as the two films involved traditional animation and additional cleanup/in-between animation and digital ink and paint was provided by Yowza Animation Incorporated. The production would also use Toon Boom Animation's Harmony, the same software used for The Princess and the Frog, to digitally ink and paint the drawings. Originally, the film was supposed to feature 5 stories from the A.A. Milne books, but the final cut ended up drawing inspiration from 3 stories. John Lasseter had also announced that Rabbit's friends and relatives would be in the movie, but their scene was ultimately deleted. Unfortunately, while the film received generally positive reviews from critics who praised its nostalgic feeling, the film sadly underperformed at the box office, grossing just over $50 million on a $30 million budget, mainly due to competition with Harry Potter's final movie, which was released during the same weekend. Now, what are my thoughts on the animation? Well, to me, the hand-drawn animation for this film is simply wonderful, and I thought it was a really smart move of them to have Bernie Mattinson to work on the film, because it truly felt like the original shorts with his art style. By the way, on a sad note, Bernie Mattinson passed away on February 27th of 2023 at the age of 87, and I hear that the upcoming animated film, Wish, will be dedicated to his honor. Also to note, While Winnie the Pooh is Disney's most recently traditional animated theatrical film, producer Peter Del Vecchio and Frozen directors Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee confirmed in 2019 that there would be possibilities for hand-drawn animated features in the future. And now, let's talk a little bit about the movie's song numbers. Like the shorts, Winnie the Pooh is filled with songs by different artists. Naturally, the movie opens up with the classic Winnie the Pooh theme song written by Richard and Robert Sherman as we are introduced to the characters of the Hundred Acre Wood. Only this time, not only is Tigger added into the lyrics, but it's also performed by the beautiful and extremely talented Zooey Deschanel. Most of the songs in the movie were written by Kristen Anderson and her husband Robert Lopez, whom previously wrote the songs for the foul-mouthed and dirty Broadway musicals Avenue Q and The Book of Mormon, as well as songs from films like Coco and Frozen. In my opinion, when it comes to Winnie the Pooh, the Lopez couple do a great job paying homage to the Sherman Brothers' signature style, and I think all these songs are fantastic, with my favorite being the Baxton song, which brings back fond memories of heffalumps and woozles. And I thought Pooh's dream song, Everything is Honey, is such a sweet song. And nowadays, it makes me think of Olaf's summer song. And now let's move on to the voice actors who brought each memorable character in the film to life. Winnie the Pooh is voiced by veteran voice actor Jim Cummings, who's voiced him ever since the 1980s, and who also voices my favorite character, Tigger, ever since Paul Winchell's retirement and eventual death. Ever since my early childhood, I thought that Cummings does a great job at making Tigger so lovingly rambunctious and Pooh Bear so adorable and humble. However, the rest of the gang have been replaced by different voice actors. But, do they do a good job? Let's take a look. Pooh's best friend, Christopher Robin, is voiced by Jack Bolter, whom after this movie appeared in one episode of The Charles Dickens Show and Casualty. As I previously stated, Christopher Robin is a friendly young boy, and he's pretty intelligent for a kid of his age. Plus, I like that during this movie, he helps Pooh and the gang hold a contest in order to help Eeyore find his missing tail, with Honey as a grand prize. Plus, I thought part of Christopher Robin's role in this movie was pretty similar to his role in Pooh's Grand Adventure, due to everybody thinking that he was captured by a Baxton. But it actually turns out that he was only going to school for the day and that he would be back soon. Rabbit is voiced by Tom Kenny, best known as the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants. While he is my least favorite character in Pooh's gang due to his delicate temper, I think Tom Kenny does a great job at bringing fussy old Longears to life. Plus, I like the part where he and the others uses the book text to get out of the pit where they were trapped in. Piglet is voiced by Travis Oates, who took over the role after the death of John Fielder. To me, ever since Kingdom Hearts 2 in 2006, I thought Travis Oates does a great job of bringing Piglet to life, and I have to admit, I didn't really realize the voice change. It's almost like as if John Fielder never died. Moving on, we also have Kanga, voiced by Kristen Anderson Lopez, who wrote most of the songs in the movie with her husband. To me, while she doesn't top Barbara Luddy or Katsusi, I think Kristen does a pretty good job at giving Kanga such a warm, motherly personality. And I like the part where she gives Eeyore a scarf as a substitute tail. Next is her son, Roo, voiced by Wyatt Dean Hall. To me, like in the shorts, Roo is spirited and adventurous, as well as curious, energetic, optimistic, and fearless. And the fact that he looks up to Tigger makes him my second favorite character in Pooh's gang. Owl is voiced by Craig Ferguson, who got to voice in DreamWorks' How to Train Your Dragon movies and Pixar's Brave. To me, Craig's voice for Owl is pretty funny, and I like that during this movie, Owl has a more prominent role. Plus, I thought the part where Owl interprets Christopher Robin's note as a distress call kind of reminded me of his role in Pooh's Grand Adventure, and the part where he had Eeyore's tail as a doorbell rope not only brought back memories from the A.A. Milne books, but also an episode from the New Adventures series called Eeyore's Tale, where Tigger becomes Private Ear for his third time. Next we have Eeyore, voiced by the late Bud Luckey, whom was Rick Dicker in The Incredibles and Chuckles the Clown in Toy Story 3. To me, Bud Luckey's voice sounds very similar to Eeyore's first voice actor, Ralph Wright, from the original shorts, and I like that Eeyore's role in this movie is a central plot point, due to him losing his tail again. Finally, the narrator is voiced by former Monty Python actor John Cleese, and to me, Cleese's narration is absolutely magnificent, and it kind of reminds me of the times when he previously narrated two Mickey Mouse cartoons, like The Nutcracker and Mickey's Mechanical House. And now for my final words. Overall, Winnie the Pooh is a truly wonderful movie, and it was a great return to hand-drawn animation since The Princess and the Frog. The characters are memorable and lovable, the backgrounds are gorgeous, the animation is wonderful, and the story is simple, yet outstanding. And like the other Pooh films that I blogged, I hope to one day share this movie with my children, if I ever gain a family of my own in the future. I give it the highest rating of 100%. Well, that's all for now. Join me next time for a Heffalump movie. To be continued.